individual subjected to propaganda behaves as though his reactions depend on his own decisions. He obeys. He trembles with fear and expands or contracts on command. But nothing in this obedience is passive or automatic. Even when yielding to suggestion, he decides for himself and thinks himself free. In fact, the more he is subjected to propaganda, the freer he thinks he is. He is energetic and chooses his own actions. In fact, propaganda, to reduce the tension it has created in the first place, offers him one, two, or even three possible courses of action. And the propagandee considers himself well organized, fully aware individual when he chooses one of them. I really enjoy discussing propaganda and analyzing it and helping you to understand and learn how to become a more effective communicator and work to radicalize people back over to sanity. There's so much to cover, and I'm really excited to do so with you because we need to be propaganda fluent. All right, I'm Layla. Thank you for watching. Make sure to like, subscribe to this channel, and share this channel with anyone who calls you a conspiracy theorist, because, yeah. Individual subjected to propaganda behaves as though his reactions depend on his own decisions. He obeys. He trembles with fear and expands or contracts on command. But nothing in this obedience is passive or automatic. Even when yielding to suggestion, he decides for himself and thinks himself free. In fact, the more he is subjected to propaganda, the freer he thinks he is. He is energetic and chooses his own actions. In fact, propaganda, to reduce the tension it has created in the first place, offers him one, two, or even three possible courses of action. And the propagandee considers himself well organized, fully aware individual when he chooses one of them. I really enjoy discussing propaganda and analyzing it and helping you to understand and learn how to become a more effective communicator and work to radicalize people back over to sanity. There's so much to cover, and I'm really excited to do so with you because we need to be propaganda fluent. All right, I'm Layla. Thank you for watching. Make sure to like, subscribe to this channel, and share this channel with anyone who calls you a conspiracy theorist, because, yeah. Individual subjected to propaganda behaves as though his reactions depend on his own decisions. He obeys. He trembles with fear and expands or contracts on command. But nothing in this obedience is passive or automatic. Even when yielding to suggestion, he decides for himself and thinks himself free. In fact, the more he is subjected to propaganda, the freer he thinks he is. He is energetic and chooses his own actions. In fact, propaganda, to reduce the tension it has created in the first place, offers him one, two, or even three possible courses of action. And the propagandee considers himself well organized, fully aware individual when he chooses one of them. I really enjoy discussing propaganda and analyzing it and helping you to understand and learn how to become a more effective communicator and work to radicalize people back over to sanity. There's so much to cover, and I'm really excited to do so with you because we need to be propaganda fluent. All right, I'm Layla. Thank you for watching. Make sure to like, subscribe to this channel, and share this channel with anyone who calls you a conspiracy theorist, because, yeah. Individual subjected to propaganda behaves as though his reactions depend on his own decisions. He obeys. He trembles with fear and expands or contracts on command. But nothing in this obedience is passive or automatic. Even when yielding to suggestion, he decides for himself and thinks himself free. In fact, the more he is subjected to propaganda, the freer he thinks he is. He is energetic and chooses his own actions. In fact, propaganda, to reduce the tension it has created in the first place, offers him one, two, or even three possible courses of action. And the propagandist considers himself well organized, fully aware individual when he chooses one of them. I really enjoy discussing propaganda and analyzing it and helping you to understand and learn how to become a more effective communicator and work to radicalize people back over to sanity. There's so much to cover, and I'm really excited to do so with you because we need to be propaganda fluent. All right, I'm Layla. Thank you for watching. Make sure to like, subscribe to this channel, and share this channel with anyone who calls you a conspiracy theorist. Because, yeah. Individual subjected to propaganda behaves as though his reactions depend on his own decisions. He obeys. He trembles with fear and expands or contracts on command. But nothing in this obedience is passive or automatic. Even when yielding to suggestion, he decides for himself and thinks himself free. In fact, the more he is subjected to propaganda, the freer he thinks he is. He is energetic and chooses his own actions. In fact, propaganda, to reduce the tension it has created in the first place, offers him one, two, or even three possible courses of action. And the propagandist considers himself well organized, fully aware individual when he chooses one of them. I really enjoy discussing propaganda and analyzing it and helping you to understand and learn how to become a more effective communicator and work to radicalize people back over to sanity. There's so much to cover, and I'm really excited to do so with you because we need to be propaganda fluent. All right, I'm Layla. Thank you for watching. Make sure to like, subscribe to this channel, and share this channel with anyone who calls you a conspiracy theorist. Because, yeah. Individual subjected to propaganda behaves as though his reactions depend on his own decisions. He obeys. He trembles with fear and expands or contracts on command. But nothing in this obedience is passive or automatic. Even when yielding to suggestion, he decides for himself and thinks himself free. In fact, the more he is subjected to propaganda, the freer he thinks he is. He is energetic and chooses his own actions. In fact, propaganda, to reduce the tension it has created in the first place, offers him one, two, or even three possible courses of action. And the propagandist considers himself well organized, fully aware individual when he chooses one of them. I really enjoy discussing propaganda and analyzing it and helping you to understand and learn how to become a more effective communicator and work to radicalize people back over to sanity. There's so much to cover, and I'm really excited to do so with you because we need to be propaganda fluent. All right, I'm Layla. Thank you for watching. Make sure to like, subscribe to this channel, and share this channel with anyone who calls you a conspiracy theorist. Because, yeah. Individual subjected to propaganda behaves as though his reactions depend on his own decisions. He obeys. He trembles with fear and expands or contracts on command. But nothing in this obedience is passive or automatic. Even when yielding to suggestion, he decides for himself and thinks himself free. In fact, the more he is subjected to propaganda, the freer he thinks he is. He is energetic and chooses his own actions. In fact, propaganda, to reduce the tension it has created in the first place, offers him one, two, or even three possible courses of action. And the propagandist considers himself well organized, fully aware individual when he chooses one of them. I really enjoy discussing propaganda and analyzing it and helping you to understand and learn how to become a more effective communicator and work to radicalize people back over to sanity. There's so much to cover, and I'm really excited to do so with you because we need to be propaganda fluent. All right, I'm Layla. Thank you for watching. Make sure to like, subscribe to this channel, and share this channel with anyone who calls you a conspiracy theorist. Because, yeah, individual subjected to propaganda behaves as though his reactions depend on his own decisions. He obeys. He trembles with fear and expands or contracts on command. But nothing in this obedience is passive or automatic. Even when yielding to suggestion, he decides for himself and thinks himself free. In fact, the more he is subjected to propaganda, the freer he thinks he is. He is energetic and chooses his own actions. In fact, propaganda, to reduce the tension it has created in the first place, offers him one, two, or even three possible courses of action. And the propagandee considers himself well organized, fully aware individual when he chooses one of them. I really enjoy discussing propaganda and analyzing it and helping you to understand and learn how to become a more effective communicator and work to radicalize people back over to sanity. There's so much to cover, and I'm really excited to do so with you because we need to be propaganda fluent. All right, I'm Layla. Thank you for watching. Make sure to like, subscribe to this channel, and share this channel with anyone who calls you a conspiracy theorist. Because, yeah, individual subjected to propaganda behaves as though his reactions depend on his own decisions. He obeys. He trembles with fear and expands or contracts on command. But nothing in this obedience is passive or automatic. Even when yielding to suggestion, he decides for himself and thinks himself free. In fact, the more he is subjected to propaganda, the freer he thinks he is. He is energetic and chooses his own actions. In fact, propaganda, to reduce the tension it has created in the first place, offers him one, two, or even three possible courses of action. And the propagandee considers himself well organized, fully aware individual when he chooses one of them. I really enjoy discussing propaganda and analyzing it and helping you to understand and learn how to become a more effective communicator and work to radicalize people back over to sanity. There's so much to cover, and I'm really excited to do so with you because we need to be propaganda fluent. All right, I'm Layla. Thank you for watching. Make sure to like, subscribe to this channel, and share this channel with anyone who calls you a conspiracy theorist. Because, yeah, individual subjected to propaganda behaves as though his reactions depend on his own decisions. He obeys. He trembles with fear and expands or contracts on command. But nothing in this obedience is passive or automatic. Even when yielding to suggestion, he decides for himself and thinks himself free. In fact, the more he is subjected to propaganda, the freer he thinks he is. He is energetic and chooses his own actions. In fact, propaganda, to reduce the tension it has created in the first place, offers him one, two, or even three possible courses of action. And the propagandee considers himself well organized, fully aware individual when he chooses one of them. I really enjoy this. Okay, we're here. We're live. Finally. I had some little tech difficulties because obviously, whenever you try to do anything fun or important or enlightening, the HDMI cable has to go out. Anyway, I'm Layla, and this is Propaganda Fluent, and I talk about propaganda, social engineering, a little bit of politics, and, just the basic mind control manipulation whole thing that we've got going on. So today we're going to be discussing one of my favorite things, and that is the tactic that propagandists use called deflection. Yeah, it's going to be good. Let me get this mic Okay, we've got some clips, we've got some real world examples that we're going to go over, and I just feel like it's going to be really exciting. So let me get this out here. And if you're joining for the first time, hello, thanks. Oh, I think earlier time is a better time slot. I don't know. That's just what I feel like. That's what I feel. Let me just repost. But yeah, so deflection. Deflection is it's a really interesting tactic that propagandists use. They don't seem to the average person, I would say, doesn't seem to really understand deflection, doesn't really catch on too much. They just seem to go along with it. They stay too engaged. And I guess that's just the average person has a whole entire different look and view of conversation than obviously someone who's trying to manipulate. And if you watched my stream yesterday, you can check it out where we look at mindset and the stark contrast between a regular person's mindset and maybe a psychopath's mindset. The actual psychopath is the example, and see how different it is because the message and the I would say the baseline lesson that everyone needs to learn is that propagandists, they think very differently. The people who produce propaganda, people who are looking to manipulate and engineer a society and an outcome, they don't think like we do at all. I don't know. I don't know why that's so I don't know why that's so difficult for people to understand. Um and we have two clips. I have a clip and a space that I want to go through just to show, and then some audio actually. And then I think we might have a special guest. We'll see. We'll see. Okay. So I hope everybody's day is going well. This has just been wild. It's literally been wild. Oh my God. It's so wild. I love getting into this. I think that there's so much to discuss on this topic and which is propaganda and social engineering, and no one's really doing it at all. Like beyond any like surface level. And it's frustrating because propaganda is part of our lives. It shapes how we think, it shapes how we live our life, and can really put us in a dangerous and unhappy place if we don't understand how it's manipulating us and have the ability to discern. Now, with all of the things that come with propaganda, you have to understand the different tactics that go along with it. Most of the time we just are looking at this surface level, like, okay, from the surface, they put a movie on, or they drop some pamphlets, or whatever it is that has to do with propaganda, and we seem to think that's it. That's how it actually works. Without understanding the core dynamics. Why are they even doing it? What's the purpose? Oh, maybe they're doing it, especially in wartime, because it saves them money. Yeah, they can exert their political influence and take control without having to spend too much money. I mean, it could be that simple. It really, really could. But people just don't seem to get it. They just don't seem to get it. But I mean, I blame the Masad Hill or McGraw Hill education. It's depressing. So we're going to go through all that, and we're going to go through the tactics of why is everything so difficult right now? I don't even understand. I'm trying to pull up my notes for this. Oh my God. Today, today, today. It's so frustrating. Yeah, streaming is not easy. But in any case, I think I might start a space too and have like a little bit of discussion. We'll see. Everything's going crazy right now in terms of technical difficulties, so I don't know if I'll even do that. Pull this up. Okay.
Mindset. Mindset. Um, let's get into it. So deflection. Now, when you are trying to understand propaganda and you're trying to, let's say, protect yourself or figure out what's true, what's not true, and all of the different narratives and however you get them, maybe you just get them from social media, maybe you get them from movies and TV, maybe you get them from Apple News, whatever way, there's always going to be a certain element of deflection that's involved because I feel like propaganda, in terms of the whole view of persuasive communication, propaganda really, really tries to obfuscate and hide its intentions. It's trying to hide as much as possible. It's trying to say to you, you'll get everything you want, everything will be great, and there's not going to be any downside, which obviously we know is not true. Because the reason you have to use propaganda, let's say, versus marketing, just a regular marketing pitch, is that propaganda knows the person consuming the message and receiving the message, the target, is probably not going to like the outcome that comes with following the propaganda's message, that following and taking action in the way that propaganda is, just pushing you along. So that's one of the things I think that differentiates propaganda so much from just persuasive communication in general and marketing. Because marketing, you sort of highlight key pain points that the consumer is facing and how your marketing message goes into reflect how the product or the service or whatever you're offering will help ameliorate, help fix and appease those issues that you're facing, those pain points as a consumer. Whereas propaganda makes a lot of empty promises, let's just say. it's just, it's crazy to think. It's crazy to think, to be honestly, that this is not taught early education, like one of the first things you learn. But sure, great, whatever. Mm, nice Twitter stream. I'm gonna go there. Oh, cool. Whoever wants to, whatever way you want to consume the content. This is crazy. Okay. So, yeah, I'm live on Rumble. I should be live on X, and I should be going on YouTube and even Twitch. I think it should be on Twitch as well. I haven't checked it. Oh, man. This has just been such a crazy day. Okay. So, in general, overall, I really want to delve into the powerful propaganda tactic known as deflection, or I just call it as deflection. And basically, this tactic involves shifting the focus of a conversation or argument away from the original issue to something else, often to distract from a damaging truth or avoid addressing the topic directly. Now, if you do not actually address the topic and engage in the topic, you don't have to argue and win on that topic. You could just simply change the topic. I mean, so many times, like honestly, so many times, people literally, propagandists and these manipulative talking heads, honestly just change the topic. They just don't go into it. The other day I was in a space on X and someone brought up MAGA communism and was like, "Why are you a MAGA communist?" Blah. And I said, "No, we're not engaging." Engaging with that. We're not engaging in that topic. But yeah. So yeah, don't do it. Don't do it. Be a little bit edgier. Be a little bit edgier and be a little more strategic. Like, don't engage in everything. You don't have to. I think that's a huge lesson, and I don't know why people don't. Anyway, I know why, because I haven't spoken on it. I don't teach. People need to learn. The message needs to get out there. We all need to learn together, right? We all need to put the effort in. So, deflection in itself, um yeah, what? Is this live? Yeah, it's live today, right now. So deflection in itself, let's look at a couple of points. Deflection and mechanisms. So deflection is not as simple as you think to pick up and recognize. Deflection is a little bit more complicated to recognize. It's actually not as simple because most of us get into a sort of a routine and we're just going along with the conversation. We have a lot of training when dealing with people and having genuine conversations with people, um, that really promote us having good faith and really promote certain behaviors and habits. So with deflection, you'll ask something, they'll avoid the topic, or you'll ask something and they'll give you a what about this or what about that or some hypothetical scenario so that they shift you from talking about this one instance and then they'll jump to another scenario, which absolutely makes no sense. Um, and we're going to play the Pierce Morgan clip in a second after we get through a couple of these definitions, but it's it's really something that I think that if people could get and recognize deflection as a tactic and be able to highlight it and attack it and break it down, we'd make a huge amount of progress. We would make huge amount of progress in terms of recognizing and understanding and evolving how we engage and how do we deal with propagandists, bots, or commercials or whatever it is. And deflection, honestly, deflection does usually happen when you're having some sort of engagement with someone. You're looking at a debate, you're debating someone, having conversations. So deflection and mechanisms. Deflection is used to divert attention from inconvenient facts or criticisms by introducing a new subject, blaming others, or questioning the motivations of the opponent. Oh wow. How convenient. How nice and convenient. You can literally you can literally just change the topic, you can insert another topic, you can do whatever. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. And just unfortunately though, people were not trained to actually deal with this effectively. So, I think everything should be working. Let me see. Deflecting, deferring. Mm, no, I would say it's a little bit different. Say it's a little bit different. Okay, let me sit up straight. I don't know what I'm doing. Okay. Could we do Discord? Let me see. Okay, I think we're gonna have someone. Yay, I think we're gonna have somebody call in on Discord. And if anybody wants to join, you can also join with the Discord too. I don't care. You can like send me it's post truth Layla on Discord and you can just join that way. I don't care. This is like a free flowing space. Okay, so let's get up this Pierce Morgan clip because I know I want to watch this stuff and start reacting to this bullshit. Okay, let's see. Let's get Pierce. Let's get Pierce here. Okay, so I just really like this clip. I really like this clip because I feel like Pierce Morgan is showing what it's like, a very, very subtle form of deflection. And eventually eventually you can get them to admit to the fact that they're trying to deflect. You can do that. And it takes a lot of finesse, and it takes a quality of tone of voice and wording that won't really make you seem like the aggressor, because there's so many things, and I'm sorry if this seems like too much, but there's so many things happening at the same time when you're trying to be persuasive, when you're trying to be manipulative as a propagandist. There's so many things you have to consider. And a lot of the times when you're seeing debates on TV, especially when you're seeing debates in social media, a lot of what's happening is not for the person talking, it's for the audience. It's to help the audience digest a message, understand something, and go through the logic of something to really, really adopt it into their minds as truth. Because, it's not going to work just telling someone, oh, this is right. This is right. This is correct. That doesn't really work. We as human beings have evolved heavily to utilize storytelling and this sort of logical process that digests, breaks down information, and then you can consume the information. So you have to think about that. And when you're dealing with deflection, you don't want to be too aggressive. You don't want to be too nasty because then the audience is just going to say, hey, that person's really mean. That person's so mean, which is ridiculous. Which is ridiculous. Okay, great. Okay, we're gonna go through this clip and then I think I'm gonna be able to pull up Discord and have someone join. I'm super excited. That's gonna be so awesome. Let me see. Let me just check this live and see what's happening. Okay, cool. I don't know why. I don't know why it's not showing me anything from X right now, but I hope everything's working on X. Anyway, so let's start this clip. Let's see what's happening.
We don't have exact figures, as you know, it's the fog of war.
But you've got exact numbers for Hamas terrorists you've
media
killed. Why wouldn't you know how many civilians you've killed?
because obviously our focus is to go after the Hamas terrorists, and
No,
we
but hang
will
on.
do
I mean,
our
that does
utmost
imply
to-
that you're putting a bigger premium on killing Hamas terrorists in terms of numbers and accountability than you are on innocent civilians. That can't be right, surely. If you know exactly how many Hamas terrorists you've killed, you must know how many civilians you've killed. Otherwise, you're prioritizing the lives of terrorists over innocent people.
So this is just good in general. So he's trying to deflect. He's going to start really deflecting in a minute. But what Pierce is doing, and this is something that you can focus on with yourself when you're debating and try to suss out when you're listening to someone, is whether or not they are going to stay honest and follow their own logic and stay genuine with their own logic. So what he's doing right now, and he's trying to like flow through this guy's like logic and the process, and so you're saying you're really more focused on the terrorists and not the people. And he's really trying to suss that out so this guy can't deflect because he's really pinning it down so he can't deflect. And look at his body language. And this is a rare case. Most of them just gaslight and double down. Most people just gaslight and double down when they have this issue. And I'm going to keep this general to anyone does this. This isn't just a Hasbara thing. This isn't just an Israeli like intelligence tactic. They don't just own it. This is something universal, but obviously right now with the holy war going on, and we have just so much content and so much examples from this conflict and from this situation that it's great to have. Plus Pierce really, he comes with a jugular here.
With respect, don't put words into my mouth, please. I didn't say exactly 14,000. I said around 14,000. Whereas Hamas will come out with precise numbers that statisticians
give me
will
a
look at.
ballpark number for civilians.
Well, wait.
How many civilians do you believe you've killed?
Wait. So Hamas will come up with exact numbers.
Exactly 14,000. I said around 14,000. Whereas Hamas will come out with precise numbers that statisticians will look at.
Give me a ballpark number for civilians.
Well, you can use the ballpark as far as the Hamas figures, which I reject as being false.
Well, if they're false, why would you give me those?
I gave you the numbers that I had.
No, you've told me you know how many Hamas terrorists you've killed, but you don't seem to have any idea how many civilians you've killed. I'm just bemused. Why wouldn't you keep count of both?
I don't have that information to give you, Piers. If I did, I would.
You literally no idea how many civilians you've been killing.
I can tell you definitively that our aim is to go after Hamas.
No, but
We've
hang
done
on.
it successfully.
I'm sorry to push you on.
Okay, so there we go. So there we go. That's the first, that's the deflection. I'm telling you, I'm telling you.
Definitively that our aim is to go after Hamas.
No, but
We've
hang
done
on.
it successfully.
I'm sorry to push you on this. That's quite extraordinary. You're an official spokesman for the Israeli government, and you have no idea how many civilians you've killed. I thought you just told me that you were particularly careful about not killing civilians. But if you don't know how many you've killed, how can you say that with any certainty?
Because even if you were to go by a ratio of the Hamas figures, we would still be far ahead of any
That wasn't
Western
my
army.
question. You know it wasn't my question.
I don't have the information.
You literally have no idea how many civilians you've killed.
It's not that I don't know. I'm not authorized to give the information. I don't have the information.
That's complete nonsense. Why are you authorized to give me the number of terrorists you've killed, but not the number of civilians? I don't understand.
Yeah. I don't
Can you explain?
understand either.
Piers, we will go after Hamas. We will ensure that we
Deflect, deflect, deflect.
But you want me to
return
believe you're
security.
being incredibly careful about how many civilians you're killing, and you have an amazing exemplary record, but you don't know how many civilians you're killing. So how do I know you've been careful?
Piers, when the dust settles, we will come out with the proper numbers. Hamas runs to the press daily
But
with
hang on,
false.
when the dust settles, a lot of people will have died, and you know how many Hamas you've killed, but you don't know how many civilians you've killed. And I'm just asking you why. Why is it you've kept a record of one, but not the other?
I personally don't have that information to give to you. You can ask me over and over. I'm not going to come up with more information. I don't
So you
personally
don't
have
know.
I don't have that information for you.
But you're an official government spokesman for the Israeli government, and you have no idea.
Piers, I came on here to focus on what's going on with the war.
Well, actually, you came on here to answer my questions, I think.
Yeah, and I don't have an answer for you for that.
And I didn't intend to press you on this point because I assumed that you would not respond the way you have. But I've never had an Israeli spokesman who simply said, I have no idea.
I love it. I love it. See, that's what I was mentioning earlier. You don't want the audience to think that you're a bully. You want to seem like you're compassionate and caring and you're genuine and you want to have a conversation. It's like, hey, what are you talking about? What's happening? Do you have the answer? Why are you deflecting? Like, these are the things that need to happen. And it's really, really critical because you have to maintain the higher moral ground. Unfortunately, fortunately, human beings are not just logical. They need to make sure everything fits within this frame of morality. And side note, that's another reason why, if you have an ideology and you have a society that's engineered to believe that certain actions are moral, regardless of the outcome, regardless of actually what they are, if that society, if that population believes that's moral, they're going to accept it. Case in point today. So many examples.
Particularly after you boasted about the fact that you've been very smart in the way you've avoided killing civilians. How do you know if you've got no idea how many you've killed?
Because I know the way in which the IDF operates. I know the way in which we go after the terrorists in the best possible way. It's not what I've said, it's what General Protect.
You go after the terrorists in the best possible way. Ooh. Propaganda. You go out, you try to kill. No, you try to just like do whatever you need to do to get them all out. You're literally admitting that you don't care. You're just doing whatever.
Petraeus has said. It's what John Spencer from West Point has said. It's what multiple British generals have said. Israel goes out of its way to avoid civilian casualties. That's what we'll do. If you can point to me to another conflict by which they have evacuated, got out of harm's way civilians to the extent that Israel has done, then fine.
Sorry, with respect, Mr. Hyman, how
Deflect. What about scenario? Can you bring up another? No, that's not it. That's not an explanation of what you're doing. That doesn't explain it. Oh, can you give me another example? Oh no, then that proves what? What does it prove? Oh, it proves that you're the most moral army. Okay. Yeah, that's true.
How can you possibly expect me to accept any comparisons to any other conflict or war, given that you do not know how many civilians you've killed?
Piers, you understand that I can't prosecute the war over the media. I
I'm just
can't give you
asking
all
you
the
for
information. I'm not
basic information.
authorized
I'm
to
just,
give you
honestly, I'm just.
all the information.
Deflect.
I'm not trying to trap you, and I'm not trying to unfairly harangue.
There we go. There we go. I'm not trying to hurt you. I'm not for the audience. For the audience. When you're dealing with deflection, you need to be careful and you need to be sensitive and you need to be caring. But you need to go for the jugular. That's what's happening. Because with deflection, the tactic for dealing with deflection, you have to go for the jugular. You have to be aggressive and call them out.
And I'm not trying to unfairly harangue you. I think people are watching this and they'll make their own conclusions. I just find it astonishing that the moment I asked you how many Hamas you killed, you could tell me immediately. And the moment I ask you about civilians, you haven't got a clue, literally. That you're not even prepared to issue a ballpark number. And I think people will find that staggering, particularly.
He'll give a ballpark number, but then it's a ballpark number. He says that's not true. And Pierce is like, then why would I take that ballpark number? It's ridiculous. Like this man, Pierce is literally accepting his frame. He's like everything. He's accepting that, Israel is the most moral army and they're the ones who only have the right data and all the data's wrong. And this guy still cannot push it through. He can't land his little plane.
Given that you are insistent that you're doing everything you can to avoid killing civilians. To which, again, I just simply ask, how do you know? If you don't know how many you're killing, how can you possibly be sure that you are, A, doing better than other people waging war elsewhere, or B, that you have any idea how many you're killing? You don't, clearly.
That was brutal. Bodied. He bodied him. That was a body. So I hope, I don't know, maybe I kind of want to play it one more time. Let me know if you don't think I should play. I don't think I can see any of the comments from X for some reason. I have no idea. But I'm gonna play it one more time just because it's a really good clip. And I know I interrupted a lot, so sorry. We'll play it one more time. For the commentary, for the win. Okay, here we go.
We don't have exact figures, as you know, it's the fog of war.
But you've got exact numbers for Hamas terrorists you've killed. Why wouldn't you know how many civilians you've killed?
Because obviously our focus is to go after the Hamas terrorists. And
hang on, that does imply that you're putting a bigger premium on killing Hamas terrorists in terms of numbers and accountability than you are on innocent civilians. That can't be right, surely. If you know exactly how many Hamas terrorists you've killed, you must know how many civilians you've killed. Otherwise, you're prioritizing the lives of terrorists over innocent people.
Piers, with respect, don't put words into my mouth, please. I didn't say exactly 14,000. I said around 14,000. Whereas Hamas will come out with precise numbers that statisticians will look at.
Give me a ballpark number for civilians.
Well, you can use the ballpark as far as the Hamas figures, which I reject as being false.
Well, if they're false, why would you give me those?
I gave you the numbers that I had.
No, you've told me you know how many Hamas terrorists you've killed, but you don't seem to have any idea how many civilians you've killed. I'm just bemused. Why wouldn't you keep count of both?
I don't have that information to give you, Piers. If I did, I would.
You've literally no idea how many civilians you've been killing.
I can tell you definitively that our aim is to go after Hamas.
We've done it successfully. I'm sorry to push you on this. That's quite extraordinary. You're an official spokesman for the Israeli government, and you have no idea how many civilians you've killed. I thought you just told me that you were particularly careful about not killing civilians. But if you don't know how many you've killed, how can you say that with any certainty?
Because even if you were to go by a ratio of the Hamas figures, we would still be far ahead of any Western army.
It wasn't my question. You know it wasn't my question.
I don't have the information.
Well, you literally have no idea how many civilians you've killed.
It's not that I don't know. I'm not authorized to give the information. I don't have the information.
That's complete nonsense. Why are you authorized to give me the number of terrorists you've killed, but not the number of civilians? I don't understand.
See, this is why they don't want us asking questions. Oh, this is why. And this is the fundamental. I'm going to take a second. I'm going to bring up my special surprise guest. I'm so excited. This is why they don't want us thinking. This is why they don't want us asking questions. If you notice, they just want us to consume. But never ask a question, never understand what's actually going on. Like, why are we doing this? Like, what does this mean? So let me bring up my special guest. I'm going to connect my Discord and I'm going to start the call now with them. Let me see. How do I do this? Okay. Should work fine. Okay. Can you hear me? Let's see. 1 second, guys. 1 second. 1 second. There we go. Can you hear me now? Okay. Yeah, I can hear you. Okay. Now let me see. I think it should hear. Let's see. Let me capture this. Can you guys hear the Discord? I don't know if it can hear the Discord. Let's see. Okay, let me just. This thing is like blowing my eardrums out. And then we're gonna get into. I have a spicy space that just shows like real tactics and like it's amazing. It's amazing the way it works. Now, how do I get the volume down? Because my eardrums are going to literally blow out of my head. Discord, I feel like such an old person when I'm like, how you use this Discord? Okay. Uh-huh. Oh, there we go. User volume. Okay, cool. Now let me see. Okay. I hear you loud and clear. Can you hear the any like voice, other voice? You only hear me? Okay. Let me check the stream really quick, guys. Sorry about this. Let me check the stream and see if it's like streaming. If it's the streaming. Okay, can you keep talking? Just kind of So how was your day though? No, let's keep talking. How was your day? Oh, there we go. User volume. Okay, cool. Let me see. Okay. And I hear you loud and clear. Can you hear? I don't think it's playing. Like voice other. I don't think it's playing yours. No, I don't think I can. I don't think I can. Let me try one thing and then we'll get to it. But the clip is really gonna be good. The clip is from a space with this guy who I'm actually soon going to be collaborating with, where he's interrogating these people on their like BS narratives. And it's just, when I tell you it's amazing, it's like, it's amazing. I don't want you to start, I don't want you to start, I don't want you to start, going in on yourself and like introducing yourself until I know that it's actually working. So just let me can yeah, I don't think it's playing you. I don't think it's connected to you. Okay. So that's Discord. I remember there was something going on with Discord, but I can't remember what it was. Where it was like not really letting the audio go through, but it should go through regardless because I have my whole situation. Have you ever heard of the Fallen State on YouTube? No, I haven't heard of the Fallen State. I have not heard of that. But this is gonna get good. This is gonna get good. Oh, you have to do that. Okay. Yeah, I think you should listen. I think you should listen on your phone. Sorry, I'm trying to figure this stuff. It's so much. Let me see. Let me see. Because I got it on the call. I got my little call up. Now, how do you get, let's see. it should go through regardless of everything. Life and its challenges. Input device, output device. I think this is the one. Okay, I think this is the one. This is like way more complicated. Hold on. Let me see for a second. Man, tech issues. I love it. I'm not at all like the type of person to do any of this stuff, but I embrace it as much as I can. 9-2. Which one did I? Set as default. Okay, I see what it's doing. All right, guys, give me just one more second. I had it set up for the other thing. All right, can you hear me, Cave? Okay, when I switch to this, then it works and I can hear everything. Yeah, when I switch to this, it works and I can hear everything, but I don't think it goes through because it's not going through the right thing. Like, I wish we could just do. Discord is super annoying, by the way. So yeah, I'm streaming. I'm on Streamlabs, and then I'm using the Discord, and it's like, you're happy I'm live? Thanks, Bruce. I'm glad to be back. I always have tech difficulties, but whatever. We do what we gotta do. Hmm? Mm-hmm. Yeah, I've got that whole situation. It's not routing to, it's not routing to the right place. Let me see. I know it is. It is the first time for everything. And it's super annoying, but whatever. We're gonna get it done. Here's Vader. And it gives you like 1,007 like options to do everything. Oh, here we go. Okay, now can you talk?
Hello?
Okay, I can hear you now. All right. I think it's okay. Talk again.
Hello?
Yay! Okay, I think it works. Now I'm going to. I'm so excited. I think that I needed to press default. Okay. Okay.
Uh,
I think everybody should be able to hear you now. So people in the
um,
chat, let me know.
yeah.
We're gonna get it done. And it gives you like 1,007 here, I can see like options to do everything. Oh, here we go. Okay, now can you talk?
Hello?
Yay! I got it to work. Oh my god, and it didn't take me 72 hours. Yes. Yes.
That's
You have no idea. Okay. All right, I'm super excited. Thank you guys for being patient. Like, oh my god, I'm so bad at tech. Okay. So here we go. So, I'm so excited to have Cave. That's because that's what it shows up on your Discord. I'll call you Cave. But you're also Cars. Okay,
yeah,
I'll
Carson.
just call you Cave. I'll call you
Car-
Cave on
Carson's
here.
fine.
Carson, okay, because you're Carson on X, and everybody should be
Yeah.
following you because you're just like brilliant and amazing. Like, okay, I stand for people, but I stand for Carson. Like, I feel like every take is like a good take, like regardless. And I love it. I love it. So can you just like briefly introduce yourself? Like, who are you? Where you're from, your motivation, just, whatever you want people to take away from you.
Yeah, well, I'm Carson. Uh, I'm from Florida. I am currently in college. So probably younger than most of the people involved in this discourse. But
Mhm.
my biggest, I guess, motivation for um, being involved in these discussions and that kind of thing is learning about people, but also learning about society. I think it's really interesting. We need to know about the world we live in. Um, and we live in a complex world with complex people, but
Mhm.
there's some complex people, but most people are, in my opinion, very, I mean, sheepish. They follow what they hear and what they believe, and I believe that of conservatives and liberals alike. So, um,
Oh yeah.
yeah,
Yeah. Mhm.
I would say I'm a libertarian. But it like all of that is kind of just dumbed down labels. I'm a free thinker above all else.
You're special. You're special. Yeah, I know. I started using that. I'm like, I'm special. Not in the like pejorative way, but the like I'm actually
Yeah.
unique and special. Because most people, like you said, most people are not, they don't have this like sort of inner fire, this drive to understand, to question, to maybe risk going against, the current thing, or even questioning the current thing. And
Or
that's something, uh-huh.
yeah, I was just gonna say I feel like people often like because we live in a world where people don't question. You're often surrounded by people who don't question, and because people around you don't question, you have this intense thing of like I don't want to question because I don't want to be different than the norm. I don't want to be perceived as going against the grain and having an opinion that might be, conspiratorial, God forbid. Um,
Yeah. Yeah, because conspiracy, we can't understand like the actual meaning of words. Like a conspiracy is doesn't always involve aliens. Like it's people
yeah,
working together to do something. Yeah, exactly. And it's just unfortunate. And I always like to rationalize things and drive things home from a really like solid standpoint in order to deal with the fact that I'm a woman, and we're all emotional, we don't make sense, but it's really important to understand like why is it that we're not inclined to go against the grain or question things or make trouble, because from a biological standpoint, from an evolutionary standpoint, that means we could get excommunicated, we could get kicked out of the tribe, and then that could threaten our survival, obviously, so
yeah.
there's
I,
reasons. Hmm.
mm, I think well, and that's one of the evolutionary reasons. I think also evolution prioritizes not necessarily physical strength, but physical capability, and
Yeah.
so because we aren't stronger than like the apes, but we evolved to have stamina and be able to outwalk pretty much anything. um and so anyway, my point is I think we aren't necessarily inclined to um do the hard intellectual things to um we're inclined to believe in things because that are told to us because we're not inclined to go against the grain intellectually. We're not inclined to put that much intellectual effort into things. Um, so that would be my main, I guess,
Mhm.
belief. I think you have to have like a high, and I know people don't like talking about IQ, but I do believe in IQ, and I think you need to have a high IQ to actually question things, and
Yeah,
to
yeah.
spend the time on that.
Yeah,
Um,
exactly. It's a muscle. You have to work a muscle. That's why with my streams and what I'm trying to teach on my channel and my platform is, building that muscle, being able to recognize deflection, being able to shift into a mindset of someone who would want to manipulate groups of people, shift into recognizing and being able to call out and handle all of the complicated things that go into not only protecting yourself from propaganda and these nefarious influences, but being able to be effective communicator. And to your point of the IQ, I really do feel like I was actually talking about this with my man yesterday, and a lot of the things that we should notice and should be obvious to us come instinctively to people with relatively high IQs. Like you call out, you're not for a conservative, or you're not for the ultra liberal, but I'm sure that's something that doesn't I mean, I know lots of people who weren't able to recognize that and recognize the importance of that. And I feel like from you instinctively recognize, especially with your age, you're still in college, you're able to pick up on a lot of these crucial patterns in society and these key things. Above all else, you also have, like, I think, a really good set of more moral standards as well, that you don't really wave with, this sort of self-justification or illogical rationale, which I think all really exemplifies like a high IQ, a person who's confident, a person who has a mission and purpose. And a lot of people don't have that. So
Yeah,
that's why I stand Carson.
I think one interesting thing that's been a development recently politically is that like a
Hmm.
lot of people now are that the common thing is the two-party system sucks, you know. So we a lot of people think they're free thinkers when I think they aren't. They're just like now sheep towards centrism. Um, and so I think like being a centrist, the definition of that should be changed because like in my opinion, centrism is kind of just having a variety of views. And I used to call myself a centrist, in fairness. Um, but I think now it's become like the norm to be like, the Ben Shapiro-esque, Destiny-esque,
Oh
center right or
God.
center left person.
Yeah.
Um, and I don't like either of those people, obviously, because
Hmm.
they are literally sheep in a quote
They
unquote moderate
stand
way.
for nothing. They stand for
Yeah,
nothing. They just fall for whatever the party line is. Yeah.
yeah. So it's but yeah, I think I'm not I'm not a huge fan of where discourse is at right now. I don't
Hmm.
I think even
Same.
people who like I might talk to in this area, people who might agree with me that Israel is not is killing children right now. Um I I still see hallmarks of like quick thought and not quick thought, but easy thought, falling for the easy thing, calling out in my opinion Jews instead of Zionists is like I I
Yeah.
don't I don't see that as productive, and
Making
and I
making
yeah,
nuanced arguments is
which is hard for
super
people to do.
critical. It is. It is.
And I shouldn't have said productive just now. Productive's a no word, um, because people will often use the question of productivity to deflect. So I guess that's a good segue back into what you wanted to
Oh,
talk about.
nice. Yes, yes. Yeah, so the overall lesson that we're trying to get into today is just deflection, because I see it so, so much. And most people just don't have the tools necessary to deal with deflection and do it in a tactful manner that will actually be productive. Okay, we got some comments too, and I know I'm going to get the comments on the screen. I got that yesterday. Someone had a viewer had recommended that, but right now I'll just read the comment. Thomas Bailey, yeah, he said, I'm not for common sense, not political theater. Yeah, exactly. No, he says, I'm for common sense, not political theater. And I totally agree. We need to have this common sense. We need to have this foundation of principles that's taught and given to Americans and given to people wherever they live. And the political theater is obvious. They call it political theater for a purpose. I feel like they name these things on purpose so that we can pick it up, but most of the time people don't. And then the other comment is from Bruce, where he's like, they love to deflect, I swear. Yes, they do. They love to, they want to bring up every scenario. Oh, what if this? Oh, what if that? And it's like, can we deal with what's actually happening. They love to deflect. It's very nice to put it back on them when they try to gaslight us. Yeah, because these things sort of come in a combination. But being able to call it out and recognize the individual pieces of the whole tapestry of BS propaganda that people put together is really important, so we can actually, learn each tactic, learn each component.
So
Okay. Hmm.
I just want to touch on this. Earlier, you were
Yeah.
talking about like these things should be taught from an early age, and I actually, that was one thing where I was like, I don't know. Propaganda and propaganda literacy from an
Yeah.
early age, I feel like would
Yeah.
be very hard for young people to learn. But one thing I think people should learn is
Hmm.
I think from a young age, children are taught not to question. Like, just
Yeah.
go along with what your parent says. Whatever they say, it's just because it's easy for them and whatever. We just tell children, don't question what your parent says. They're right. Whatever. And so from an early age, I never did that. I never questioned, or I would do it respectfully, but I did question what my mom had to say, and oftentimes I was right. Oftentimes I got put in my place, as she should. Um, but I think teaching children, from a young age, and this is I think the step one to propaganda literacy, that it's okay
Hmm.
to question. It's okay to you know call out your parents for something they say, and maybe you'll get put in your place, or maybe you'll actually be right, because it teaches people that later on they can question things. And I think
And
that's
be
part of the reason why.
accountable. Yeah, be
Yeah,
accountable for their logic and be able to defend their stances. Like, we don't have to do that if we just repeat things.
I almost wonder if that's like purposeful, like they're
Oh, it
trying
is.
to make it
Yeah.
so children
Yeah.
don't question, because it's easier to parent that way, number one. But I think also parents asserting their dominance, I think, might be something. So I don't know, if I
Yeah.
ever have kids, I will be teaching them to question me, because that only makes sense.
No,
And,
it's
and
true. It's true.
um, but yeah, we can get on with it, whatever you want to just do.
Okay.
Um,
Yeah, yeah. No, but you bring up great points, as usual. It is. It's because it's also modeling the behavior of mimicking the whole, dealing with the government. You're subservient to the government. You are, a peon. You need to follow the authority. Just, oh, as Thomas Bailey says, to question authority, is a normal thing. It should be a normal thing. But again, I don't know if you saw my stream yesterday, but I was one of the foundational things when people come into propaganda, they always ask, is this intentional? Why would they do this? Why would they try to do all of these things? And the first really core part of it is they want to produce a power differential. If you have a population of people, if you have a person who doesn't know how to question, doesn't know how to use logic, doesn't know how to reason through things and use foresight, how much power and how much control will I be able to exert over you? So they do, they intentionally give us the wrong tools to accomplish the task that we want. They give us, I think, I don't know, I don't think I did this on live, but I was in a space, I was using the analogy of they give us tools to hang sheetrock when we want to fix our car. Now, how
mhm.
ridiculous does that, like, how ridiculous is it? And that's exactly what they do. They give us the wrong tools. They give us literally the wrong mindset and way of thinking, where they give us the linear, like, cause and effect, like, thinking process, sort of like the one to one thing, when we need systematic thinking. We need systems thinking that will help us deal with all the myriad of variables that are necessary to address and handle when trying to solve these complex problems, especially when it comes to like society. Like, it's super complex.
Yeah,
There's not a cause and effect. Like, you can't just blame one thing. Like, you can't just blame single moms. you know,
yeah.
it just doesn't work like that. Okay.
The one I
Mhm.
did want to respond to this one comment.
Yeah.
It
Oh, cool. You
said,
can see the comments.
yes, yeah, I'm watching with no volume right now, but
Nice,
it
nice.
says kids are definitely taught to question their parents now today. They are taught not to question, or to not question the state.
Uh huh.
My response to that is, I agree. In like later ages, you're taught to like align more with the state and less with your parents. But early ages, like that early crucial moment of intellectual development of like years 1 to 6, children, and maybe 2 to 6, children, I don't think are taught to question their parents. It's go along with whatever your parents say. That's before the political mind develops, I think. Um, and so Yeah, that's what I was talking about. Like, yeah, later, definitely. We're seeing that right now with like, I'm sure a lot of those pro-Palestine protesters have pro-Israel parents. Now, I obviously agree with the protesters more, but I think that's also a mechanism of the state to get the parents and their kids separated.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, I changed my mic. Can you hear me? Can you still hear me? Why is it not working?
Layla, you there?
Okay, 1 second. Okay, here I am. I don't know why I did the default for the other one, but let me see if I can switch it because I think I might be able to broadcast things through. Anyway, I don't think I'll be able to do that. So I'm gonna start playing the clip. It's an audio clip, and then however you can listen, and then we can just like pause to respond and so on and so forth. Does that sound good?
Yeah, sure.
Okay.
Can you? Oh, you're streaming it on Discord, or
So let me see. Okay, let me
can you send
let
it to me?
me no, let me try to stream it on Discord. Let me try to do that because I
Yeah,
could do that technically because uh
yeah, that'd be much preferable for me, so that way I
yeah,
can
that would
follow
be
along
preferable.
exactly.
Okay, cool. So how do I get it to stream?
You're gonna click the button in the middle that's like the monitor with the arrow pointing out,
Okay. Okay, got that. And
and
then
no, not the activities one. You're gonna Okay, sorry. And then you're gonna click on. I assume you're doing this through X, so you're gonna click on X, whichever, or your Google Chrome tab probably, or whatever your
no,
browser tab is.
I'm gonna stream through VLC, like my okay. I'm gonna do that. Smoother video. Okay. 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 I think I got it. Do you see it?
Yeah, I see it. Let me see
Okay.
if there's volume.
All right. I'm gonna start playing it now. Thank you guys for being the test subjects. Okay. I'm gonna put the Pierce clip.
How many,
Taken
so
off the
how many
back.
civilians do you
Yes,
believe you've
I hear
killed?
it.
You can hear
Oh,
it?
loud.
We don't have
Yeah.
exact figures, as you
Yeah,
know,
it's
it's
a
the fog
little
of war.
But you've got
and we
exact numbers
we
for
don't run
Hamas
to
terrorists
media.
you've killed. Why wouldn't you know how many civilians you've killed?
Because
Yeah.
obviously
Is
our
that
I'm hearing
better?
focus is to go after the Hamas terrorists.
Yeah,
And
yeah, it's perfect.
Yeah, but hang on,
Totally
that
fine.
does imply
Okay.
that you.
Okay, cool. Now let me see how it goes. Let me see. So it should be streaming through. If it can hear you, it can hear the Discord. And it should work. Okay. So mentally, I'm
Yeah,
like, what the heck?
in the chat, if you can hear it, say something. But it was just
Yeah,
playing,
they
so if you
should.
couldn't hear it,
If they can hear your voice, they can hear the audio. So
I just don't want them to hear it twice.
yeah, I don't think they're gonna hear it twice.
For like 20. It's all you do is lie.
Yeah, you're not listening to the stream,
Okay.
so
And
it
people are
should be
waking
good.
up to it.
Okay.
The goal
Okay.
as quote a contemporary Amalek, right? In other words, he deserves to be
Gaza for like Gaza. So did you
All right, it's a
this is
little
it, but it doesn't matter.
okay. All right, so this is a space that I swear to God, it's such a good space. And I can't wait to collaborate with this person. It's not a Layla stream without a tech. Yeah, that's my OG, Nick. I know. I'm so bad at audio and visual and all that stuff. But I love you guys for being patient. I appreciate it. Okay, so to give some context of what exactly is happening. So this is a space, and the discussion is anti-Semitism in on campuses. And they've got this guy talking and discussing it. Obviously, they're debating it. And I mean, it's just a really, really, really interesting. It's a really interesting case study in how he deals with deflection, handles it, I think, really tactfully, like really well. And just to give another example, like this is obviously more extreme, and I'm going to show for the audience, I'm going to be showing more extreme examples of things because it's just easier to see. Like it's easier to pick it up. When something's super subtle, it's kind of like, what did I just watch, So we're going to do the more extreme example But that's only because eventually we'll wind down to here. I'm gonna put this up here on this take, so we have a visual. It's a little bit easier to see. So, Carson, do you think you'll ever do your own like sort of podcasting or anything
Um, I do not have the time right now
like
between
that?
school and work and everything.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know. I don't see myself as a very charismatic person. I think you have a lot more charisma than I do. Um,
Oh.
I'm very very logical. So yeah, I mean I'm happy to join on other people's stuff. But
Okay.
I don't think I'd ever want a platform of my own. Like there's a reason,
Mm,
and I know you told
mhm.
people to follow me, but I only have 85 followers and I'm not looking for more.
Okay. Sorry, I should have asked you
Oh
if you
no.
actually want people.
No, no, no.
Well, we didn't
No,
put
it's
your
fine.
ad. We didn't put your handle. We didn't put your handle up. So, unless you want me to put your handle up, they're not gonna be able to like really find you. You
Yeah, no,
know.
no, no. That's fine.
Um.
They can. My point wasn't like I don't want more. Like I'm just saying I'm not desiring more. I'm not actively pursuing to have more. Um,
Mhm. Mhm.
if
What
people
do
want to
you?
follow me, they can.
Okay. Well, yeah, we'll put it up at the end then. What are you looking to do then from your like employment, and what are your goals then? Like, are you
Yeah,
looking to?
I'm going into computer science right now. But I think
Mhm.
my plan is maybe to go into like law school afterward. Um,
Okay.
I'm not sure 100% like what I want to do with my computer science degree, and I'll decide closer to the end of things in college, my undergrad. But I yeah, I really like I couldn't tell you. I have a bunch of options set in front of me. I'm kind of free in that sense. But yeah, I
Mhm.
money's not a burden for me right now, and I could go into video game development. That's something I'm kind of passionate about. I could go into
Okay.
cybersecurity, um, and then cybersecurity, video game development, and like IP law are like the three things I'm kind of interested in right now.
Oh, nice. Oh, nice. Okay, so there's a couple things you can do. And I mean, you're out here, I'm sure, like how do you usually like outreach to people and, connect with people and really share your opinions? Is it just like one to one casually, or do you make like a concerted effort to sort of, wake people up, as they say?
Yeah, I mean, I well, number one, I'm a young person, so people don't usually like to hear, especially older people don't like to hear from younger people. And people my age are very, very set in a liberal mindset. And I don't mean
Mm-hmm.
classically liberal. I mean like neoliberal. And some of them, progressive mindsets. But it's really neoliberal or progressive, and then you have the occasional conservative who's been raised by his redneck dad all his life, and those three groups are
Mm-hmm.
made to not to not question. It's very hard to get people from those three groups to question. I think as much crap as I gave the centrists earlier, they're the easiest to like get to question things.
Yeah. Yeah,
Um,
yeah.
but yeah, so I like if I'm talking to someone and I really see that they have the capacity to escape this
Oh, I
mind
love
virus.
that. You actually try to assess whether or not it's worth your time. Most people don't even do that. It's like, why are you? It's like beating a dead horse, bro. Yeah, but that's okay. So you assess it and
Yeah.
see. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but like
It's so crucial.
I think oftentimes when I'm talking to people who like are my friends, I typically think they do, and I think it's because people of high intelligence associate themselves with people of high intelligence, and so it's they're not the people I associate with. I think have a capacity for changing their views, and they're just kind of not. They don't have the time, or they don't have they don't have the
Mm-hmm.
time is a weird thing to say, but like they just don't have the time for the burden, or don't have the available capacity for the burden of truth, I guess.
Yeah,
Um,
that's totally
but
true. It takes a lot of time.
yeah, I'm also not I don't consider myself educated enough. Like I can talk all day in ought tos for society, but I don't
Mm-hmm.
consider myself educated enough to like adequately persuade someone on many issues. And I'm also still working on my own views on issues, and I think that's something that's like, you know, people don't often have the courage to say. Like I am, not to say that I'm courageous or anything, but I like am still working on my view of certain issues, and so I'm not. Yeah, I don't know. I'm not like. Sorry, let me think about the right way to say this. I I don't know everything. I don't know everything about my views. I don't know how I'll feel about most of these things in 5, 10 years. And I'm still learning. I'm 19 years old,
That's true.
still learning, and
Oh
so.
wow. Oh my god. You're 19. Sorry. Oh my gosh. Oh my god. So much. Okay, you guys see why I stand for Carson. Okay. Let me get some water. I'm just like doing the best I can.
uh,
Okay. All right. That was good. Okay, so we're gonna get into this. You guys are gonna find this to be very entertaining. Now, oh, somebody's coming for you. Thomas Bailey says, not a diss, but you sound ultra pretentious. You know, that's just what happens. Honestly,
yeah, I mean,
that's what
people are
happens. People call
like
me.
people.
I lean into it. I lean into myself.
I mean, I love your vibe, but like, yeah, you can call me pretentious if you want. I don't really care.
Yeah. Mm.
I'm certainly not as pretentious as like the average, I don't know, twink. So whatever.
Stan, I'm standing. I'm literally gonna be standing all day. Oh, and I was today years old when I realized what there came from. That came from the Eminem song "Stan" with his super fan. I didn't
Yeah,
know that.
it's
I didn't know
it's
that. I'm
also
retarded.
some people. So some people also say stalker fan.
Stalker fan. No, I'm more of a
Stalker
Stan.
fan or super fan. But yeah, yeah, people think people can think I'm pretentious. It's whatever.
People
Like
think I'm a terrible
people
human
can think
being.
people can think whatever they want about me. Honestly, I'm sure there are plenty of people from their interactions with me who think I'm terrible. I mean, certainly on the road. So who cares at this point? You have
Soren.
whatever opinion you want of me.
Yeah, Soren. She has a sultry voice. Yeah, I know that's one of my main insults, my sultry voice. You gotta bear the burden. No, I love it. You guys love to hate it. I mean, and side note, before we get into the space, I know we have to get into space, but side note, I was people I think don't really understand that I talk about propaganda. So I'm gonna talk positively in a positive light about like truly horrible people and truly horrible things. But because I'm just trying to analyze it and I'm trying to get it and I'm trying to like dissect it, I can say, okay, that was good. That was a good move the way they did that. So if I was like on the other side, like trying to explain deflection, I would say this is how you do it. Even though I think it's wrong, I would say this is how you do it. This is the right way. And it would seem positive. But it's just weird. We have to have nuance, 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 nuance. And it's great at 19 that you have that nuance. And I'm loving the chat. You guys are freaking hilarious. Bruce, Shane, obviously, Nikki, Soren, all of you guys in here. Um, I fucking love this. I fucking love this too, Bruce. This is like going so well. Okay, let's get into this. You guys are gonna love this guy as much as I do because he sounds pretentious as hell. Like, if you think Carson sounds pretentious, okay, here we go. This is about to be bad. I love it. Okay, I'm going in at 45 minutes. Oh no, I'm going in at around the 36-minute mark. So let's just start rolling the conversation, so you can see who is talking in this space and you get an idea.
The Nazis were the Amalek of the, you understand? They have to find an Amalek in every generation. There was a Jewish professor at UCLA, and a Zionist, Deborah Lipstadt, who famously referred to British historian of German history, David Irving, as, quote, a contemporary Amalek, right? In other words, he deserves to be killed for his views on history. I mean, that's basically what she's saying. This is a dog
I love all
whistle.
the code words I use.
So basically, Amalek is a dog whistle to call for extermination of anyone who goes against Israel. What do you think of that, Kento?
In shortage, the one sentence he said on what's Amalek? When the Romans and the Nazis tried to exterminate the Jews, they were Amalek. And this is in shortage. If the enemy, it's in a slang in Hebrew, and it's not used a lot, Amalek is like an enemy who is trying to exterminate you. So this is it, but it doesn't matter. The facts are 30,000 or something, 15.
This guy is the donkey guy is the one who's talking, and then the guy, like the scarecrow guy, the host, is the one I'll point him out.
1,000 terrorists, and that's the facts. That's what's going on. We could have entered Gaza much before October 7. We didn't do it.
Mm.
So this is the facts. You can't run away from it, man.
You were literally bombing Gaza.
This is the host.
After
I don't
October 7,
understand how you can say the things you're saying
after October 7,
after what happened. It doesn't make any sense at all. Like, you have to be either like one of the
yeah,
most
you want
obvious
us,
and shameful liars that exist on the
you
planet.
want us to get
All you
You have to be one of the most obvious and shameful liars on the planet. Are you joking? Like, are you hearing this? This is amazing.
Yeah, he keeps bringing it back to like the idea that Israel is having restraint or whatever, and it's
Yeah,
it,
deflection.
it's super ironic.
It's gonna get worse. Trust me, it's gonna get worse. But he's not gonna let it happen.
you have to be completely
you
stupid.
want us to get by foot to Gaza when there's all the buildings and there's
You want us to
snipers and
get
there's
by foot?
UAVs? What? How do you think it's like a game?
So
need
you
to clear
agree
the
that you
way.
have full control over Gaza and the food that goes in and out?
At the moment,
Which means you're occupying Gaza.
at the moment, yes.
Yeah. Which
Before,
means it's an occupation.
before,
Which means it's not a
one was
war.
in Gaza for like 20.
Which means it's an occupation, which means it's not a war. See, this is the type of thing that pisses me off. Do you see how effortlessly he did that? Just it's
Yeah,
so
it was.
simple.
Yeah, I wish I could do that with that easily. I would
I
be
know.
like, my mind would be scrambling, like thinking about how I can best address the deflection. So I definitely need to work on that. But yeah, it makes a lot of sense though, and it is that easy. All you have to do is use what they're
Their
saying.
logic. Yeah, use their
Yeah.
logic against them. You give them, they will hang themselves. But people don't do that. They usually accept the bait of putting like, if I'm arguing something, then the propagandist is probably going to like try to get me to defend something, and then as soon as you accept that bait and start defending things, then you're not going to be able to hang somebody. You're not going to be able to, setting them up like Pierce did in the other clip which you saw, and then with this where you just follow their logic and you're like, "Hey." And we don't use this. Like, if from day one, instead of focusing on, oh my God, it's the Jews, instead of focusing just on that and just calling out, hey, this is not a war. You can't call it a war. That would have changed the whole framing of the entire conflict, of the entire
Yeah,
situation.
and framing is so important in a conflict like
important.
this when it just to sway public opinion. And I think we've seen, just based off of like, I think the shitty communication that pro-Palestine people have been doing, who are typically, progressive, probably very collectivist and communist and whatever. And from them, what we've seen is this poor communication, and even still, just because facts, even with sheep, facts often can communicate themselves. People can be convinced by the truth, and we've seen opinion sway. And imagine like how much more opinion would be swaying if we all could communicate properly, and if we didn't have communists as the front runner of this movement.
I know. It's so, and it's like, I'm not even going to get into it, but the whole pincer method, like you go through the communist side, who's over there too, it's just ridiculous. And and it's just, yeah, Thomas is like, I'm personally more concerned with America than camel countries. Yeah, well, America first perspective, don't sacrifice America's like moral high ground to go like bomb apartment buildings. But yeah, if we had this method, if we understood how to use it, it would be so simple. Things would be so simple and we could make so much progress. But on both sides of the narrative, like you just said, the commies, like they use the wrong like language. They focus on the wrong things. We need to just it's not a war. Like, that's why I love propaganda so much also. It forces you to deal with reality because you can't manipulate something unless you recognize what's real and what's not real. Because when I see what's real, then I can make up some BS to, change it up. But if I'm just like trying to figure it out as I go, it's not going to work. Okay.
Years unless they abducted the soldier. No one was in
Kinto,
Gaza.
you missed the point. It's not a war. Wars require two countries. This is not a war.
No,
This is an
it's a
extermination.
war. If there's 30 or 30 plus terrorists with rocket launchers and
30
UAVs
plus.
and
Whoa.
AK-47s and grenades, it's a war. It's a
Do
military.
you know the majority of the earth does not consider Hamas terrorists, Kinto?
I don't care about
The majority of the world
their-
considers
You
them
think I
a
care about
government.
Pakistan, Indonesia? Do you think I care about Libya? Do you think I care about Tunisia or Turkey? What, why do you think I
He didn't answer. That's a great point of deflection. He didn't answer he didn't speak to whether or not people actually recognize them as terrorists, that group as terrorists.
Well,
He just said he didn't care.
yeah, I don't really think it matters whether people broadly see Hamas as terrorists. And number one, whether they even are terrorists in the first place. Like, I don't even know what I would say in response to that. I'm kind of on the fence on that. But like, whether they're terrorists or not, and whether the world sees them as terrorists or not, is kind of irrelevant. The question is it a war? And what we have right now is like, it's funny because a lot of people who are pro-Israel often say, point to Palestine on a map. You can't find it. Okay. So you're proving that it's not a war.
Mossad Hill. I know, exactly. I know. They're constantly like, it's like, oh my God. And I have to deal with it. And I have to look at these people and be like, what? And it's like, yeah, it's an occupation. Because people don't understand, again, occupation law. They don't understand the difference. But anyway, he's going to go into it.
I care about America.
Because I don't. Oh, I know you don't care.
I care about
I know you
America.
don't care.
I care about UK.
I know you don't care.
I care about
What I'm
Oh, he
trying to
cares
point
about
out to you is
America.
that you can't find refuge in simply calling them terrorists. It doesn't mean anything. You can't just call someone a terrorist and then suddenly it's okay to kill them. It's not how this works.
See, that's why he set that up. Because he's like, when you frame someone and when you label them a terrorist, basically, that doesn't just give you free reign to do whatever. And so that's why he asked that question. And I think that's a critical point as well.
Yeah, I can call him terrorist, and you can call him not terrorist. You can do whatever you want.
Yeah, but I can't kill them. That's the point, and neither can you. Just because you call them something. In the same way that I can't call you a Jew
if someone is a terrorist
and then kill you
trying to
because
kill
you're
me,
Jewish.
I can.
You can't just call people terrorists and kill them because you call them terrorists.
Okay, so when you
Okay.
justifiably went after Al Qaeda and Bin Laden, and by the way, we helped you, but in that.
Deflect. I love this. Well, when you did this and when you in this scenario and that scenario and this scenario. And what is deflection? It's not addressing that main topic. Okay? I want to get off of the actual topic that we're arguing or supposed to be arguing and put us on something else so I can just hide.
It wasn't okay to call them a terrorist?
Well, Bin Laden was actively engaging in terrorism.
But why? I agree with you, but by what you said right now, why? Why is Sinwar is not a terrorist, but Bin Laden is? They are both terrorists.
Sinwar isn't being killed, right? You're literally calling all of Hamas terrorists and all of Gaza, by extension, you calling them the same thing.
Because I saw what they can do, what they do and what they can do.
They made a prison break, Kinto. They didn't engage in terrorism.
No, it's not a prison break.
Yes, it was. It was literally a prison break.
Okay.
Kinto,
prison break. They
Gazans
ran inside Israel and enjoyed the pool. Did they run inside Israel and enjoy the pool and the view? No, they went inside homes and threw grenades on babies. What are you talking about?
That's a little. Hold on a second, real quick, before we move on from that. Thank you very much. Right, that never happened.
Okay.
By the way, I'm pretty sure this guy, the host, is Jewish. I'm going to ask about in the live stream, but I'm pretty sure he's Jewish. But it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. Okay. What did you want to say?
Yeah, I was gonna say I think like I don't necessarily agree with the framing of like 100% prison break. Like I'm sure that might have been the original intention, or it might not have been. But there were innocent Israelis killed, and I don't think we should minimize that because it gives people the justification to question our moral credibility. Which doesn't invalidate our arguments at all. Like I can, and this is something I think people don't do, and I'll get back to the main point. But like, just because someone's a racist or an anti-Semite or whatever, like it can invalidate their opinion on one thing, but it doesn't invalidate their opinions on everything. But anyway, I think that's something people like I'll be talking about Israel Palestine, and then someone will bring up, well, you said such and such about, I don't know, gay people, and it's like, who cares?
I know they
That's not.
deflect and like make it something else. No, but I
Yeah,
think the reason people do that though, I think, is that we don't have nuance and we can't handle all of these complexities to an argument. So people just default.
Yeah, but I think like overall, I wouldn't classify it as just a prison break. Like, in my opinion, but like I would say it was much more like maybe it was like hijacked. I think I could go for that framing. Like it was, that's what the intention was, and it was hijacked by a bunch of people who are radicalized. And maybe to a certain
Well,
extent
even
they're
the framing of saying they're radicalized, they're just defending themselves.
Yeah, well, I agree. I agree. Some people are defending themselves, but killing innocent Israelis, I don't think that's defending yourself. Like they went to that concert, and so like, I just think it's important to me to maintain nuance and to say, okay, number one, this was a group of people who are oppressed, who have been oppressed before October 7th, long before, who broke free, and then some of them did a bunch of horrendous shit to the people who, some of whom might be there rightfully and some of whom might not be there rightfully, but to Israelis, because there are some Arab Jews who I think have as much a right to the land as anyone else. It's mainly the European Jews, who I think their being there is problematic. But
yeah, anytime you have an apartheid state, it's problematic, and I just reduce
yeah,
it down to that. That's probably what I would say. Okay,
yeah,
let's
and
get back.
yeah, I wouldn't say, yeah, I guess, and then there's that. I think that you kind of get your moral clarity, or your morality revoked when you participate in that, I guess, regardless of whether you're an Arab or not. But yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
All right, your lies, like you are 100% lies. It's all you do is lie.
Okay.
And people are waking up to it.
What is this? Okay.
He sounds like he's high.
Yeah, but no, he's Israeli, and English isn't his first language, so
Yeah.
The GoPro is a lie. I'm really. I did the GoPro. Okay.
Yeah. Show me on the GoPro where they threw grenades and killed babies. That was your claim,
bro.
I'm not saying there was no GoPro, but you said they killed babies with grenades. And if there's nothing on the GoPro that shows that, guess what? You're a liar.
Okay.
And since there's no record of any babies being killed except for that baby that was killed by an Israeli shell, and one baby that was killed by crossfire that may or may not have been IDF, then you have nothing to stand on, and you are objectively and obviously lying.
Okay, bro.
Okay, bro. Let's go back to this. Let's go back to awesome. Chastising United States college kids.
What's happening on America's college campuses is horrific. Anti-Semitic mobs have taken over leading universities.
Lie.
They call for the annihilation of Israel.
Lie.
They attack Jewish students.
Lie.
They attack Jewish faculty.
Lie.
This is reminiscent of what happened in German universities in the 1930s.
Lie.
It's unconscionable.
Lie.
It has to be stopped. It has to be condemned unequivocally.
Lie.
But that's not what happened. The response of several university presidents was shameful.
Lie. Also lie.
Unfortunately, state, local, federal officials, many of them have responded differently, but there has to be more. More has to be done.
See, he's like, more has to be done. We got to crack down more.
They attack Israel. That's bad enough. not only because they want to kill Jews wherever they are.
Lie.
That's bad enough.
Lie.
It's also, when you listen to them, it's also because they say not only death to Israel, death to the Jews, but death to
Lie.
America.
So,
Lie. And it was
this
fine to
tells
say
us
death
that
to
there's an
America until
anti-Semitic
now.
can I
surge
say one thing?
that has
Yeah,
terrible
1 second, let me
consequences.
pause.
We see this exponential rise.
Yeah, what's up?
So I find the entire framing of a lot of people who are pro-Israel, their argument is always we need to protect democracy, we need to spread democracy, we need to protect democracy, blah blah blah. Well, one of the key things in a democracy, if you actually believe in democracy, is freedom of speech.
Yeah.
And every time they go around with this anti-Semitism BS, whatever,
Which
it
is
is
broad.
anti-Semitism.
It's a broadly like whatever it's whatever you feel it is. Yeah.
Right. But I'm going to go under the assumption that everything they're saying, yeah, it was all anti-Semitic. Who gives a shit? It's free speech. There is no such thing as hate speech. Okay? Hate speech
True.
is free speech. And so,
That's true.
no separate categorization unless they're calling for violence to a person or a group of people. And I don't mean a group of people as in Jewish people, because you can call violence to a group of people. Someone could go out and say all Palestinians should be murdered, and that'd be completely legal free speech. You have to make a declaration that you're going to kill specific people on a day, or even kill specific people. It has to be a clear and present danger.
Oh God, the YouTube unalive them. Yeah, no, I get what you're saying. No, I totally get what
Yeah,
you're
and
saying.
so, but anyway, I'm getting too
Mhm.
much into the weeds of things.
Driven it into the ground.
The point is, they want to protect democracy, but they don't want to protect democratic things that are
Well,
important,
that's
like
the
free
smoke
speech.
screen. That's the smoke
Yeah.
screen. They say they want something, but they don't. It's lies.
Yeah.
Okay, let's see.
You're gonna try and make it sound like I'm a loser.
I'm not saying
way more mainstream, and people have gotten a lot more vocal about it over the last couple of years.
I would say there's a lot more anti-Semitism on Twitter. I definitely can see that. But on college campuses, no.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I would agree.
Unless you're going to go the Israel route and simply
just
declare
trying to
everything
annoy
that
me.
opposes you as anti-Semitism.
No, I'm not. I think racism is just terrible, and that's it.
Wait, we're not talking about racism. We're talking about anti-Semitism. Those are two different things.
So it's kind of the same thing, but
no,
okay.
it's not. You want it to be the same thing so you can beg the same protections, but it's not.
Ooh,
Okay.
you wanted to see that's oh my God, this is why I'm not gonna go too far. And how much more time do you have, by the way?
I can stay for as long as I need to. I'd probably want to be out of here by 9:30. It's 9:03 for me.
9:30. Okay, yeah, exactly. That was gonna say 30 more minutes. Yeah, exactly. And so beg for the same. See, they always want to conflate and deflect and conflate something to be something else. Because when you're deflecting, then you can pretend that that thing you're deflecting to is the same as the original topic, and then you can, say, oh well, if this is the logic for this, if this is the logic for racism, then this should be this. It's. And again, I wish.
So
I think
anti-Semitism has raised.
Mm-hmm.
I think the lines between like Jew and ethnically Jewish but not actually following Judaism and Israeli citizen and all of that, there are so many different columns, and I think they've been
No,
purposely
it's a
blurred.
double. Yeah, and that's the bind. See, the main tactic that you could call okay, like a Jewish tactic or a Jewish thing, um, is well, I would say that for Zionism, how they've been able to push it so far is the conflation and it's a double bind. Like they bind you in, and it's like a quadruple bind where they
Yeah,
have
I
to
think
tie all these things together, and it's not logical. Yeah.
Yeah, it's like IDF versus Israeli citizen versus Jewish person who isn't Israeli citizen but does believe in it and all of it. There's so many different categories,
Yeah.
and so they
To trip
trap
you
you into
up.
these things
Mhm.
and then they call you anti-Semitic, and then
Exactly, that's the point. They want to make
Yeah.
it so, and this is one of the things I'm going to start doing in spaces, is I'm going to start chastising people when they say, "Oh, Zionists are Jews." I'm going to be like, "You are just a selfish asshole." Like you want to like conflate all these people have nothing to do with your political agenda. So, that's one of the tactics I'm
and
going
then
to use.
And then there's Zionists, and that's like the biggest, that's the best word for it, is just Zionists. That's who I'm anti, Zionists. I'm not,
Yeah.
and they want to conflate that word with Jewish people. I've seen so many tweets now where they're just trying to say, oh, so you hate 95% of Jews? Well, actually, there's a substantial amount of
Okay.
Jewish people who
Yeah.
you know, well,
And
and number one,
but if that's the case, what do you want me to do? I'm not the
yeah,
one telling them to believe this political belief. Like,
yeah,
I'm saying I'm
exactly.
opposed to their political belief. And
It'd be
saying it's
like,
hate is bad is not true. I said I'm opposed to their political belief.
it'd be like if I
Because
said I'm
I
anti,
love Jared Kushner.
yeah. But it'd be like if I said I'm anti-gender ideology, and then they came
Yeah.
after me like, oh,
Mhm.
so you're homophobic and transphobic, and I'm like, no, I'm just anti-gender ideology, and they're like,
Yeah.
well, 95% of gay and trans people support gender ideology, and it's like, okay,
I'm
I'm cool
still
with the gay
against
and trans people that don't.
it. Or I'm not for this one aspect of the person. Again, I don't
Yeah,
like believe this particular
like just to
thing
be
is
clear,
like them.
I talk to Zionists in my personal life. I know Zionists.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
like I wouldn't say I'm friends with them because my friends who are Jewish are not Zionists.
Mhm.
But like I talk to them. I'm acquainted with them. Um, I'm not like actively avoiding them. I'm just very against this one aspect of them.
Yeah, I
So
totally agree. I totally agree. And that's one of the things, that's why you have to be very strong. That's why you have to make it very, very strong, your stances, and not let people put things on you. The philosopher says even making a religion nationalistic, a religion nationalist is a double bind. Yeah, and we're gonna get into the double bind pretty soon, because I don't know if you follow David Miller, Carson, but you really should, because he won recently a case where he was wrongfully terminated from his job at Brussels University because they said he was, he was biased, he was anti-Zionist, and he won the case, proving he was wrongfully terminated because Zionism is a political ideology, not, an ethnic group, or not, whatever. It's not some immutable characteristic.
yeah,
It's just your political ideology, and I can oppose it. So, there's so many reasons. But okay,
yeah.
we'll just.
That's great.
Mhm.
I just followed him.
In
Oh yeah, good.
exponentially in
Let's
the
see.
US and in other places.
Show me the
And
numbers.
that's not a lie.
If it's not a lie, show me the numbers.
Listen, I understand you're saving sound bites because you don't have a lot to do in your life and you're waiting for an
Another
opportunity
deflection.
to put a sound bite of an Israel.
Another deflection. Oh, you don't have a lot to do in your life, and this and that. Exactly. And what did they say? The deflection, and this is the definition. Deflection is used to divert attention from inconvenient facts or criticisms by introducing a new subject, blaming others, or questioning the motivations of your opponent. Deflection.
We ran
I'm
out
not
of arguments. Now we're gonna try and make it sound like I'm a loser.
I'm not
It's so
saving
cute.
stats. I'm not saving stats and I'm not saving videos when I scroll
You
for
guys
the
are so cute.
opportunity. I'm
You're
not
so
saving it
precious. I'm
for
serious,
the
man. This
opportunity.
is like every single argument I've had with you people. It goes the exact same way.
You know why I called you a Nazi? And I knew you're
Because
a
you had
Nazi
no arguments left.
from the moment you said "you people" 3 times. It's obvious that you're a Nazi. I can hear it.
That's a Nazi? Okay.
You people can mean anything. I don't understand it. It's oh my god.
You people?
That
What
you
you
people.
mean?
You people.
You
Oh
can,
my god. It's like he could obviously be referring to just Zionists.
yeah, yeah, it's ridiculous. Shout out to N Factor in the chat. Hey, what's up? I know this is gold. This is gold.
From your voice, and it's so
There you go.
obvious.
There you go.
Yeah,
The word means
there I go.
nothing anymore. You guys have simply driven it into the ground at this point. You've accomplished in 6 months what the actual Nazis have been trying to do for decades, which is take away all the sting of that word. Congratulations. You should be proud of yourself.
Exactly.
Dig 2 graves, murder, suicide. That's what happens. You use identity politics, murder, suicide. Just go ahead and dig those 2 graves because you're going to destroy yourself. You're going and I think this is a great point to end at in terms of the clip. But this is so many, there's just such a wealth of examples and understanding. And if we can point these things out to people, what's actually happening? Like, this is not going to achieve the goal that you think it is. Now, are the people in Israel, the people who are Zionists, radicalized and indoctrinated to believe if I follow this and I behave this way, I support these things, then I'll get the outcome I want? Yes, they are. Just like the BLM, everything. Just like everything. But yeah, 1 second. Give me 1 second. Let me give me 1 second. I was just actually closing out. Um, but overall, it's just ridiculous. So I'm just gonna end it right here, and I'll